Okay, this is Gandalf here off the forums. Just wanted to show you a little promo here for the site. This is the second game I played against Melchoir, one of our members here and one of the admin. So it started off like this. He's just starting, so we're trying to teach him a couple things. Now, here's one thing I would say is a mistake off the bat. It's not necessarily a mistake if you know how to play it. There's many openings that use the opening move D4. But the thing is, it opens up your bishop, but that's all, and your king is open to a check along any of these lines. So I prefer to do this because it opens up bishop and queen, and king is protected by this pawn. So that's what I do that. Okay, so let's open up here. Just basically, we're doing the same things over. I'm trying to focus here on getting things active, moving every piece once before I move a piece twice. That's what my goal is. So now I've got all my pieces activated, except my queen, and I haven't castled yet. So here I'm just moving up to threaten. In hindsight, I probably could have done this, forcing bishop to move up, and then takes. That would have been a pretty good line, actually, because he could have done taking here. I could have took here. He probably would have taken back. I would take back. It's quite an exchange, but it does give the double pawn here, which is something I could have focused on, but I lost an extra pawn when the knight took here on b4. So let's go back to the main line here. So when he moved away, I moved king and castled, which is main priority. He castled as well. So I moved my queen out to the left side. Now normally I wouldn't do this, except that I've got two pieces online here, or he has two pieces online to go up. So I gotta remember that I'm the black. So I moved away, and let's have a look at this from the other angle. You can see that he's putting quite a lot of pressure on these squares. Now there's no immediate danger, but when this pawn was moved, the computer actually said that he lost a lot of points. I'm not sure why that was. Perhaps if I had taken, he had taken back, it gets me up a pawn and I have some sort of tactical advantage. Perhaps because of, moving to here. Like, there's lots of things it could be, I guess. But I wasn't sure why that happened. Why it said this move gave me 5 points up from when we were even before. So I'm not sure how that happened. But anyways, I decided to move up because I couldn't move my bishop away. I had to keep this square protected by two pieces in order for him to take, me to take, and then he can't take back. So he decided to move up, threaten bishop. Now, see, this was the part that he didn't see. When pawn moves up to attack, rook is attacking queen as well as pawn will be. So when he moved down, it was a bad move because this is threatened, that's true. But this is also threatened, and after it is, the queen is threatened. So now the queen is in danger by two pieces and has to be moved away. So now it gives me a chance to move my bishop away for free, and now I'm up a piece. And that's really all it takes, is getting up one piece and then exchanging as fast as you can. Now again, here he made a mistake because you have to watch the pieces in the last move that was made. This pawn is undefended. He could have moved here and attacked this pawn, and then let's say he did that. Then he's attacking this pawn as well. So he's got quite a bit of things going for him if he moves his queen down, and it's right in my camp. So that would have been a good move. But instead, he chose to move away. I'm not sure why he did that. Perhaps he thought he had to protect his knight, but his knight is already protected by the other knight, so he was fine. Anyway, so I'm forcing exchanges here, and now I'm going to make his queen dance around a bit, because it's attacking here. And I'm hoping to get to this square with my knight and attack this rook, and perhaps something else on these squares to fork. So he moves up. I decided to move up. And now, again, you definitely don't want to do this. When a piece is attacked and attacked again, you've got a really strong line of pawns here, right? And if you take with bishop, that line is unbroken, and it's really strong to protect your king. You've got all these squares protected across the whole board. So, but instead, he decided to take with pawn, giving himself a double pawn and leaving this pawn undefended for me to take with knight even, threatening queen for him to move away. But instead I pulled up rook to get it active, and this is no good. Because he sees what's happening. I'm threatening to go here with bishop and cause another x-ray with the same two pieces I did in the last game. So that's no good. So he's trying to defend against this, but this pawn is just easily taken. Queen moves away because he saw this x-ray, which was a good thing by him, but he moved away to the wrong square. Anytime you see a knight that can attack, you gotta watch where it can attack next move. Oh, shoot. Where it can attack next move, that's right. So when the knight is here, it can attack any one of these squares. So what happened was I moved here, and now we have another fork with queen and rook. Now there's one way to get out of this situation, and I'll give you a few seconds to have a look at it and see if you can figure out how you can get out of this without going a piece down. Just have a look at it for a second. White to move. Did you see it? Okay, here's the move. This rook is undefended, and this is the problem with this, because if pawn had been up here, then it could have been defended and there wouldn't have been a problem. But it wasn't. So I decided to take rook, and he took rook, and now this knight has nowhere to move. It can't move here, 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 or here. Here, it's dead because of king taking. Here, it's dead because of pawn taking. Here, it's dead because of pawn taking. And here, it's dead because of queen taking. So this knight is now dead in the water. But I moved up and tried to make his queen dance a little bit before he could do anything. So at this point, there was no other moves to get the horse out of there. So I took here. He took back with bishop. So that just shows you that even though you're in a fork or something's bad's happening, you should still have a good look, because you can get out of it sometimes, like this situation. But usually, you can't get out of a fork like that. Okay, so I pulled over here hoping to activate my bishop to this side. And he decided to pull rook over. I decided to put up. Now this is very dangerous here. You always want to look for these pawn forks. When it's protected by pawn, and there's two pieces here, forking two pieces, it's not a good thing at all. So I pulled up a threatening queen and bishop, and that's the pawn fork, right? So he took with bishop, but now see, there was a problem here because he could have done anything he wanted. He could have moved back to, let's say he moved down to here. I couldn't have taken, because if so, he would have taken my queen. So that was it wasn't as dangerous as I thought. But instead, he decided to take, and that's when he went down a piece, because of taking here. And now he put his queen in front, which is another stupid move, because in this situation, you don't want to exchange queen for queen, because then we have left bishop and castle versus castle, which you don't want. So, let's take here, and I obviously want to do a queen exchange, and now again, I'm just blocking off the passage for the rook to get down into my camp. So now the rook is basically useless. I move over, and you gotta watch for this. The king is pinned in his castle. There's no way for him to get out of there. So, you know, once rook is down to here, it's a bad thing. The only way to prevent that is to put rook down. So then if I move down, you take. But that's not what happened. And even if it had been what happened, I could have moved here, threatened pawn, and threatened rook. And then rook could have moved over, threatened again. Rook could have finally moved to here. And then I could have moved to here, because it can't take, right? And then if he moves down, you know, eventually I'm going to get to here, then to here, protected by bishop to force this rook exchange and win the game. But anyways, that's not what happened. At this point, the game was lost anyways. But he moved up, and it was check, and he had to put the rook in front to block. The only ways to stop check is to move your king block the attack or kill the attacker. And none of that could have happened except for blocking, and then it was checkmate. Alright, thanks a lot.